Good morning, everyone. It is my profound privilege and pleasure to get to introduce UTTAMA. Just as it's been a profound pleasure and privilege to work with her these past months. UTTAMA has been working on a really singular, compelling project of writing conservation mythologies, a concept that I think is so galvanizing and useful and vital. She's marrying what's transcendent and universal about mythologies, the way that they affect and reach us, and using them to tell the most urgent stories right now about conservation. And the care and rigor and commitment that UTTAMA has brought to this work, her real scientific understanding, the research she's put into arriving at that understanding, and the way that she's able to marry that to just her incredible abilities as a storyteller has made some really beautiful and powerful work that I think is capable of affecting real change, that has changed me. I know I'm going to continue to hold on to these stories and think about them. And I've just been so impressed with the care and the rigor and real integrity you've brought to thinking about how to tell these stories in a way that's meaningful and respectful and capable of doing really big work in the world. And UTTAMA, I'm just going to miss getting to work with you. It's been such a joy and so inspiring to me to see somebody that cares so deeply about what they're doing and is pursuing it with such passion and commitment. And it's really like energized me as somebody that makes creative work in the world to see your deep care for what you do. I'm just so impressed with you as a writer and so impressed with what you've made and can't wait to see them step into the world. So congratulations to you on just terrific work. And I'm wishing you all the very best from here.
Thank you so much, Emma. I'm going to miss working with you too. Thank you. That's such a lovely introduction. I don't think there is much more to say there. I've been writing these myths with, I would say, both a heavy heart, but also a hope that the world that we are in and the creatures we're witness to are not always in peril. And yeah, it's something that came about in the process of writing was that though each narrative focused on a particular creature, a particular threat, so many factors have seeped into my story, social, political, cultural, and I think mostly unintentionally, which to me really revealed in an organic way the interdependency of all the forces that are at play, that impact conservation. And Emma, you know this, but for me, the process has been just as important as the final product. I think writing can often be an isolating endeavor. It's just been so wonderful to work on this with witnesses along the way, this community. But Emma, you fueled so much care and thoughtfulness into this project, given me wisdom I'll carry for a long time. So thank you. Also want to share my gratitude for Creature Conserve for its openness really in supporting both new and experienced voices in this space. I'm new and it's just been amazing to me and so fulfilling and really, given me a long-term purpose. So thank you to this community as well. I will share one of my myths here, but before I do, I'll just give a little insight, kind of the process and what got me here. It all began on a trip to Vancouver many years ago when I skipped a day of my friend's wedding. Nobody was happy with me. I went out to San Juan Islands in the hopes of seeing a killer whale. All the boats that went out that day did not see them except for mine. I could not get them out of my mind. And since then, reading books, documentaries, listening to their calls while I was walking my dog all the way on the other side of the world in Singapore. So when a friend told me about this mentorship program on a beach cleanup, I knew right away which creatures I was going to begin with. And of course, through the program, I've deepened my research, gotten to understand these creatures at a whole new level. And each of the myths that I've outlined and planned, it's always been really one specific scientific fact that's kind of punched my gut and made me feel like I needed to write a story around it. So with that, I will share here and read one of my myths. Let me share my screen here. Just let me know when you're able to see it. I will read an abridged version in the interest of time. So you'll see me skip over some words, written and illustrated by myself here. An orca whales. Not so long ago, by the ocean's edge, a wave crashed into an old woman's knees. From its depths, a call was heard. The sound rattled in Kimaya's jaws. Who do you see, Mimi? The orca leaks blood as black as your skin, her grandmother said. The islander said Kimaya was spared, not having to witness her reflection in the waters, blind of earthly sight, dark as soot, frightening to behold. Kimaya mimicked the orca call, a plea, a child stretched, please. If her parents heard, might they return for her? Hope for you is as abundant as food for the killers, Mimi said. Kimaya ran home, weeping imaginary tears, for her soul was in drought. In the morning, the salty ocean rose, covered the sky, and summoned the people of the coast. The ocean spoke humbly, a sonorous voice, but at lower pitch, Kimaya felt a rumble that stacked up sadness in her bony chest. The orca sound a new call. Do you hear? Unbearable is their wail. Tell me what they say so I may ease their pain. Or can you no longer hear your ancestors' spirits? Silence in the crowd. Idleness does not churn waves, the ocean said. Take 3 days. On each I shall return for your answer. Fail, and you will not be spared punishment, the ocean said. Join together, speak as one. I cannot bear the racket of your deliberation. Before the islanders could gather, a man shouted without consulting the others. The call means the orcas are starving. All the fish have been taken from the rivers. The ocean sprayed mist in disappointment. The answer was wrong. The man was sent away, and a group formed. Our orcas have an ear for drama, an elder berated. Not the right kind of fish to eat, boats disturbing foraging, toxins in the water, complain, complain, complain. Such is the chaos when women rule, another said. On their second day, the group presented their answer. The call is a plea to end the matriarchy. Mimi laughed so hard her knees buckled and she rolled on the ground. The ocean joined her in mockery. When you feel every power is a threat, you make yourself small, the ocean said. The group of elders was replaced with scientists, most untrusted. Spectrograms were shuffled through, no match was found. They sent word across lands and discovered the new call had been heard far beyond their sea. Impossible, one said. Never before has our clan shared a single call with the transients or the other residents. Evidence refuses ignorance, said another, wheezing. Communities of orcas across all oceans are repeating the sound. Newborn calves are learning it even before life-saving calls. Killer whales are cartographers, the sole female scientist explained. The way they hear allows them vision inside the inhabitants of their world, a kind of intelligence beyond our ability to measure. Beyond yours, perhaps, a man piped in, almighty. The call is new, but the language is old. We need simply translate. Easy, said another. Captive orcas have been making a similar call through 80 years in show business. Similar is not the same, Kimaya offered, having snuck into the tent. Banish the blind bat, someone shouted, and Kimaya ran back to Mimi, who was by the shore, counting softly under her breath. A blow and a killer whale appeared, the oldest matriarch of the clan. Out came the call, a long repeated chain, no tonal variation, no rise and fall, a guttural sound, urgent and yet defeated. Haunted, Mimi said, as one who travels through time in the wrong direction. She asks for help, Kimaya said. If you listen in our language, Kimi, you will never understand them. They sing not of what they need, but of how they feel. Then how will we ever know, Kimaya asked. Perhaps the way we recognize a laugh or cry, even if we don't speak the dialect. Or loneliness, Kimaya said. Mimi turned away. Unlike us, they listen to each other and cooperate. We lack their wisest trait, Kimi, and learning it may be the only salvation. Kimaya ran to tell the elders, but a wall of noise surrounded their arguments, egos thick as fog. Mimi's counting continued in the distance, though no one heard until the stars set on their final hour. 3, 2, 1. The ocean raged, raising a tsunami over their homes, threatening to crash. Ignorance will not be forgiven. As punishment, you will sacrifice the youngest of your children. Kimaya was brought forward. Sighs of relief surrounded. Let the ugly one be taken, they whispered. The ocean swallowed Kimaya. Her legs fused, bound like a dancer's, then sprouted a fluke. Smooth as a bomb, her body expanded, more space for her being. Water felt a replacement of blood, quenching centuries-old thirst. Kimaya was transformed into a female orca. 3 days later, Kimaya returned to land, no longer blind. The orcas have spoken, she announced. Their call is a farewell and signals the end of their existence. They are too dignified for blame, so I will tell you what ruins them. The fish are scarce and the noise of our boats makes it harder to find what remains. Without enough food, our poisons seep deeper into their blubber and kill the young before they are born. They make the call for each other, a shared grief as much as a warning. No more will we be, they say. Sobs erupted, others walked away, some stood to watch. Mimi limped towards Kimaya. You spent 3 days with the orcas, Kimi, but here 3 years have passed. No whale has been seen since you left, and how glad I am of your return. With sight, you have much hope, maybe a match for marriage if you desire. I see not a trace of beauty, she said. No longer do I wish to remain. Though the orca's time nears an end, I'd rather die with them than live here. Kimaya stepped into the ocean, swam away, never to be sighted again. Since that day, more tsunamis arrived year after year and destroyed the lands. The islanders say the ocean continues to take revenge for the killer whales we lost. Mimi laughs and cries until both are heard as the same. Thank you. I will just share before I end here a little bit about the next myth that's in progress. As I mentioned, the stories are propelled by a very specific learning. The next one is going to be focused on the threats to fertility that make it tough for the population to rebuild its numbers. 70% of Southern residents lose their calves before birth. But the fact that punched my gut was this: a female orca's first miscarriage offloads a significant portion of pollutants. And if she conceives quickly enough to reaccumulate, without enough time to reaccumulate more toxicants, then that's the best case scenario for a second pregnancy to succeed. My next myth is told as a conversation between an orca calf who's still inside his mother. He's her first, and we'll realize by the end that he's the sacrificial calf, the one that needs to die in order for the second and the subsequent to be born and survive. I hope to share these myths with this community. If anyone wants to collaborate, explore ideas of the creatures they care about, please do get in touch. I will be sharing the myth freely digitally as I come out with them. Currently they're on my website, utamapatel.com, and I'll be sharing it with this community as well. But thank you so much. It's been a phenomenal experience and looking forward to hearing from everybody else.